what I'm a part of is called Monastic Academy, and it is a center that runs a lot like a monastery. We wake up at 4:20 and we have start chanting Buddhist chants at 4:20, 4:40 a.m. And then we sit meditation for an hour and a half. Required exercise period following that. Have some work for a few hours. Lunch, breakfast, still meals. And then in the evening period, we tend to do something like circling or bioemotive, like some therapeutic modality, or have some ceremony, and then meditation in the evening, and then chanting, finishing around like 9:30. So we get like not a lot of sleep. And we also have 1 week out of every month that is a silent retreat. So rather than 3 hours of meditation a day, we have, ideally 24 hours of meditation each day, where you can even hold the practice down while you're sleeping. But that can be challenging. So, but holding down a meditation technique from the moment you open your eyes or wake up in the morning till the moment you go to bed. But formal sitting practice, we still have, I don't know, I think like 10 or 11 hours a day for those days.
Wow. Oh, that's quite intense. I mean, I have a meditation practice that I'm very committed to. Um, it involves heart rate variability training at the same time. Like I have my device called the Leaf. It sits under my chest, and then I can kind of track whether like this kind of meditation, like let's say I'm just focusing my breathing, I'll do that for 20 minutes. I'll experiment with that, and then another time I might like imagine a happy scene from my past, like when I was hanging out with my friend Vasily in New York, and we were watching like a punathon on TV, and that just gave me such great joy, you know. So I have like
See
that
the joy.
memory.
I can see the joy coming out in your face right now.
Yeah.
There, nice.
So you know, I'll imagine that, and then I'll check my heart rate variability, and that tends to like increase it even more. So I'll kind of like keep hacking my meditation based on what keeps giving me like the best results, and you know also how I feel after the meditation. Like, do I feel like energized or do I feel drained? You know, so those are all factors for me. And then you mentioned that you're familiar with biohacking. I was wondering like what tips like specifically you wanted to share with people that are trying to like, you know, get more out of their meditation practice so that later on they can be like their best and perform their best throughout the day, be like their kindest, you know, to others, not be as reactive. Like what tips would you say you have for them?
Oh wow, there's so much room for exploration there. I have had a lot more experience with, say, like in the past, self-improvement kind of stuff. You know, Tim Ferriss style
Sure.
tips and tricks and methods and habits and stuff, and I can share about those.
Hmm.
Um, and then regarding like how to develop and cultivate a robust meditation practice that enables you to become more of what you want or need to become. That's There's so much there. But just a few. I'll start off with the small, easy stuff. Just a few little tips and tricks.
Okay.
For example, vitamin D. Only take it during the day in the morning. Do not take any vitamin D in the evening because it inhibits melatonin production
Hmm.
and can throw off your sleep schedules. But I do
Exactly.
have an alternative suggestion for something that I've been using over the last like 7 months. Um, there is a nootropic stack company called Neurohacker Collective.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, they have really great stuff in my opinion, and the one that I've gotten most benefit from is their sleep formula, um, and it's non melatonin based, non sedative, and you take it a few hours before bed. Um, and I notice I get much richer sleep, and I wake up feeling much more refreshed and energized. in a very significant way, noticeable effects upon the first time for me. Sometimes it takes a few days for people. Uh, and also, the favorite reason why I take it once or twice a week, not a lot,
Ah.
uh, but is for the benefits to my meditation practice.
Hmm.
Um, in the evening, um, if I wanted to do like say insight or vipassana practice, which I can explain more about later, perhaps, is which requires more like equanimity and tranquility. Uh, it enhances that a great deal. Um, and yeah, I've had some good experiences.
Can you elaborate when you say like it enhances it?
Yeah, it's so equanimity is this capacity to like bring up, material of mind or mind body or energy within the body or something that traditionally you might have had a reflexive pushing away of or pulling towards, pleasant or unpleasant.
Ah, okay.
But equanimity allows you to bring all of that material up without having some sort of like reflexive aversion or grasping towards it. You just sit there, equanimize, and that sort of like neutralizes the power that it had over your mind. And um, the so that's, in a very broad stroke, that's kind of something that's done during insight practice. And yeah, equanimity is the primary tool for doing that, and it's pretty enhanced by this. Um,
Hmm.
uh,
Sounds like a good way to kind of like be less addicted to social media, things like that, you know?
oh, it's yeah, less addicted to social media, but even less addicted to the drivers underpinning like a social media addiction, like a addiction for social approval,
Mm.
um, or addiction for not feeling worthless, which drives you to cling really hard to social approval. It just goes really deep, and so you can like find the underlying drivers that are for drive a lot of the bad habits in your life, and address those root causes with this meditation.
Okay. And one more related question. Like I pretty much stopped trying to do meditation in the evening because every time, like without fail, I start falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any tips for people that fall asleep in the evenings for meditation?
Yeah, one is attention to the sensations of falling asleep or drowsiness in the body. There can be this sort of like soft, fuzzy feeling in the whole body. Just notice it as a sensation, um, and uh, bring equanimity towards it,
Hmm.
um, and sort of take away its power to be able to pull you down into the quicksand. It just
Huh.
sort of like, oh, this is just another sensation in the body. I don't have to listen to it and heed its demand to start drooling. Um, you can oftentimes there's a sensation behind the eyes that is associated with drowsiness, and if you can just sort of sit there and really focus on it, it sort of again sort of takes away its capacity to pull you into sleep and have your eyes get really heavy and your eyelids close. Um, you could start doing some kind of breath work. Say you do like I explained vipassana practice earlier, but there's also shamatha or concentration practice, which typically involves some kind of like engaged breath work. There's many different flavors of it. It definitely doesn't look like Wim Hof style breath work.
Oh,
It
okay.
could, it's something else. There's many different ways of playing with it. But basically doing some sort of like breath work, even if it's long and slow, to sort of like cultivate energy within the body. Um, you could remember like rouse motivations or even rouse heroic motivations. Think about not only the benefits to your life that meditation brings you and your sort of like highest aspirations in life and how meditation will help you advance towards them and how that's the most important thing you can strive towards and is the most important thing in your life. And so why sleep now when I can, this is a great opportunity to advance towards those. Um, and but also like the kinds of motivations around like you could think, oh, I'm not just meditating for myself. a meditation for all people in the world that I will interact with in the future. All my relationships, my family, my friends, and my community.
Right.
I'm meditating so that all of them don't have to deal with a bitter, sad, et cetera, grumpy, conflict-prone person, but less of that and more of the good stuff.
Right, right. And focus on, not just the benefits that you're going to get, but everybody who's going to be, interacting with you is going to get from your practice. Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's other things too. You can stand up. Standing meditation works great. There are also very good walking meditation practice stuff. The most basic one is like as you're walking, continually bring your awareness back to the sensation at the palms of your feet as you walk.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely some good ideas to experiment with for sure.
Let me see, 4 years ago, I quit caffeine, and it was a very good thing for me to have done, in my opinion. I started remembering my dreams almost immediately,
Whoa.
started getting better sleep. Yeah, I used to drink so much of it. It was bad.
Oh, I know. It's like if you work in an office, maybe I don't know if you did that, but like they just give you it's on tap, you just have this free coffee, and it's crappy coffee, it's moldy coffee, it's not good for you coffee, but
Yeah,
we drink it. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. Now there's better like workforce enhancement procedures that companies are doing that are more wholesome, like mindful meditation rooms and
yeah.
that sort of stuff. So, uh,
I actually I don't know if I mentioned this when we met, but like I led a meditation group at Zillow when I was working there, so that was a fun experience. Yeah. Yeah, I'm generally a very like head focused like engineer kind of person. That's something I have to do throughout my day. Like when I remember, I'll like try to push things down, like drop in, notice what other parts of my body are doing besides just my head.
can I have a little? Can I have a suggestion for that one?
Sure, please.
Two things. One, dropping the energy from the head down to the bottom half of the body is tremendously useful, powerful, and necessary, honestly, for having a really robust meditation practice. It's something our teacher hounds into us every day.
Hmm.
And the suggestion is to sort of uh, there can be ways that it works where you kind of like push the energy down, um, but that can also um, create other sort of like destabilize the energy a bit if you use too much force. But instead, what you can just do is open up your awareness, sort of soften the whole field of awareness, and let the energy just kind of fall down like snow down to the bottom and settle into the firm ground of the bottom of like your torso and your hips. And you can, if the energy is like really staying up in the head, you can just sort of like just let it be there, but also have like the center of your focus down and the Tandien, it's like the energy center just below your belly button, while having in your background awareness the tension or energy that's up in your head. And you just sort of like sit there. You can even imagine the space down below here is like a hand holding the string, and then there's just like this really big balloon floating right here. You just imagine that, and then eventually, you're staying relaxed and breathing slowly. It will just sort of naturally draw the energy down. Speaking of that, regarding meditation, the most important thing that you can do to develop, maintain a robust meditation practice is to fall in love with your breath. Just like become endlessly fascinated with it, become intimate with it, let it express itself to you, express yourself through it. And there's many different ways of focusing on the breath or being with the breath, cultivating the breath. You can play with the subtlety of focus, whether it's just like you're just forehead pressed up against it, concentrated, or if you're just way up in the background and your awareness is lightly touching your breath like a feather. Is it the full sensations of breath within the entire body, or is it tip of your nose or in your belly? Yeah, the possibilities continue. I'm thinking of other factors, but basically, to what degree are you controlling it? Are you sort of swinging it back and forth, rousing energy, or are you sort of like calming the body with it? Or are you not doing anything with it at all, or barely anything, just letting it be and observing from a distance? Or are you just like completely surrendering over to it, getting absorbed into it, becoming the breath? So endless, beautiful.
Nice. Yeah. So my like key things that I try to focus on is nose breathing. So in and out through the nose. I've stopped doing the whole like blow out the breath like a candle. I don't know. I would just rather like I understand that inhaling through the nose is like the healthiest and best way to breathe, from my understanding. And then there's some people are like it's okay to exhale through the mouth. Others are like it's better to just do nose breathing the whole time. So I'm just like, why even go through this mental fatigue of like, should I be mouth exhaling or, okay. So I just do nose breathing. I try to do it like 24/7, unless I'm, talking or eating food or something.
Yeah.
And the other thing that has definitely given me awesome results is resonant breathing. Are you familiar?
No.
Yeah. So resonant breathing is basically where it's the way how you breathe at a certain like rate and frequency, and then your physiology resonates with your breath. So everything is like in like this harmonic frequency. The heart math folks kind of made this famous with coherent breathing. They kind of brought it more to the masses. But the basic idea is that you get a paced breathing app or just an audio, right? And let's say this audio does a very common resonant breathing pattern is 5/5. So this audio is like do 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 5 and then da, na, 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 na. So it like guides your inhale and your exhale. And a lot of people like their heart rate variability just shoots up, including my own, if I breathe in that pattern. So that's something that I try to do every meditation. A couple of other common ones that people watching this moment experiment with is 5.5 inhale, 5.5 exhale. And some people will benefit with
5 seconds.
Yeah, 5.5 seconds, yeah. And some people will actually benefit from 4-second inhale and 6-second exhale. So the exhale is longer. And like logically, it makes sense to have a longer exhale because like that's when your heart rate slows down and you're like relaxing, right? But in practice, that's not the case. In practice, more people have better results in terms of heart rate variability if they do 5/5, like an equal ratio, 5/5 or 5.5, 5.5. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Something that's coming to mind is like I have like a deep appreciation for the way that you've been engaging with the breath, and the way that you just shared it with me. It makes me realize how relatable that is for a lot of people, because it's just like, oh, you do it for this amount of time and these results occur. And I feel like we're in like there's like two kinds of like breath camps or something. Maybe this is true, maybe it isn't. But it seems like that approach is very much suitable for the people like yourself who, like you said, have engineer minds.
Mm-hmm.
It's very systematic, which is powerful and good for a lot of people. For me, breath is it's, I don't know, it's like this sacred activity or something. I just feel every breath and every time, every session I sit with my breath is more like a dance, and the cadence and the strength and the melody of the breath changes from beginning to end.
Hmm.
And it's sort of like more like this twirling Sufi mystic dance with my breath.